God bless you as we begin this season of Lent. And at the LCMS Foundation, we really look to share with you God's Word during this time to allow us to be able to focus on and meditate on the life that Jesus has given to us. Our theme will be being content with my weakness because of Jesus. And to set that theme, I want to share with you some words of 2 Corinthians chapter 12. The Apostle Paul said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest on me. For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, and persecutions and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong." It's strange to think about being content with weaknesses. It sounds so foreign and off compared to what our culture would want us to display. But during this Lent, we will journey with Jesus' disciples and see their weaknesses. But more than that, we will see Jesus dealing with those weaknesses through the power and strength of His grace, as His grace is always sufficient for us. So we dig in. The first account of one of the disciples struggling with their own weakness was with Judas as he plotted to betray Jesus. For millennia, Christians have tried to figure out and discover why Judas would have been willing to betray Jesus. Was it because he was in charge of the treasury and wanted more money? Was it that he wanted to be in control? Was it that he was giving up on Jesus, that he was ever going to amount to what Judas had hoped he would be? We don't know. But what we do know is that Judas decided to exchange his loyalty to Jesus in exchange for those 30 pieces of silver. How much was that in money-wise? It'd be about 120 days of wages in Jesus' day. So a substantial amount of money. But our hearts break as we think about the weakness of Judas being willing to trade in 120 days of wages for the sake of giving up Jesus. We think about that weakness in Judas's life, and sometimes are just overwhelmed by how that could happen. But betrayal is always just that, giving up loyalty to someone in exchange for a perceived benefit that seems greater or more important than that loyalty to that person. And we're all guilty of betrayal in our life as we betray Jesus, thinking that there are other things that are so much more important to us than Jesus is. Maybe it's rest or relaxation or fitting in or getting ahead or succeeding, whatever it might be. And how easy it is for us to say, I will give up on Jesus in order to pursue those other things that I think are more valuable to me. They may not be 30 pieces of silver, but nonetheless, we chase after them and give up on Jesus. But in the strength of Jesus' love, we find that Jesus never gave up on us, and He never exchanged something else in place of His loyalty to us. In fact, Jesus set aside all of the things that would benefit Him, His glory that He had experienced in heaven. He set it all aside, as the book of Hebrews said, for the joy that was set before us. He endured the cross, scorning its shame, and then sat down at the right hand of God. By God's grace, we are drawn to faith. And so we believe in Jesus and know that He gave Himself for us. And because Jesus would never betray us, we are confident that we are His and that we will be His forever. And that's why we can say God's grace is sufficient for us.